I'm the co-convener at Canada-India Foundation. Today, on behalf of Canada-India Foundation, we'd like to welcome all and thank you for coming out this evening to bid farewell to a very distinguished guest among us, diplomat from India, His Excellency Mr. Ajay Basaria. Among us today, we also have several well-wishers of Canada-India Foundation, and I would like to acknowledge their presence. Council General Srimati Apurva Srivastava ji, Associate Minister Ms. Neena Tamri ji, MVP Laurie Scott, MVP Hardeep Grewal, and I think he's not here yet, MVP Mr. Deepak Anand.
Always the late.
We also would like to welcome Mr. David Agnew from Seneca College and Ms. Ruby Thala. Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming out tonight to celebrate the work and life of His Excellency Mr. Ajay Basaria in Canada and India. So as the cliche goes, the man needs no introduction. We all know him extremely well here in Canada. Ajay Basaria's work in Canada is familiar to most of us here. But I believe he is ending his inning here. It is worthwhile to take a quick look back at his illustrious career with the Indian Foreign Services. Mr. Basaria has a master's in business administration and a master's in public policy. In a career spanning decades, he served in key roles across the world. He was private secretary to one of India's most consequential prime ministers, late Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, during his time in office from 1999 to 2004. He served at various missions abroad, including Russia and Pakistan. Now, to take the evening forward, I would like to request our CIF Chair, Mr. Satish Thakkar, to come to the podium to give a warm welcome to His Excellency today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sunita, for starting the evening. This is a great evening together. And thank you, friends, for joining us to bid a farewell to one of our very, very favorite person, and especially a great friend and a mentor to Canada-India Foundation, His Excellency Ajay Basaria, India's High Commissioner to Canada. Friends, our HC arrived in Ottawa as the winter of 2020 was ending, and at the same time, one of the coldest and scariest periods in the human history was about to begin. The pandemic shut everything down across the world, and the situation for us in Canada was not much different either. And under the circumstances, I'm not sure if he was accorded a proper welcome party by the Ottawa's diplomatic community, as it is the custom. So we are very, very grateful that we get this opportunity to express our appreciation for all what our High Commissioner has done in person in Canada at his farewell time. Thank you, Ajay, for agreeing to travel to Toronto to be with us this evening. Friends, on his arrival, our High Commissioner was suddenly looking at the world dramatically changed. It posed newer problems even for a seasoned diplomat like him. Besides the usually heavy load of work that comes with the position, especially when you have to deal with very sensitive files with the tact and delicacy, he was the man of the hour. India relationships grew from the lukewarm to warm. What we all remember is the way his office facilitated the exchange of critically needed vaccines from India and equally urgent need of the PPE and other equipment that Canada supplied to India. During his short stint, Ajay Basaria has been an effective and firm voice on behalf of India and held the course even when faced with provocation. He has been a tireless advocate on behalf of India's growth story. He does not miss a single opportunity to spread the message of what India holds out for the world today. Even during the worst part of the pandemic, confidence in India by the Canadian investors held firm, and a large part was played by Ajay's unique ability to communicate with conviction and instill confidence. During the recent farewell function for him in Ottawa, we interacted with the CEO of CPPIB and were thrilled to learn how India continues to be the favorite destination for them. There were many others among the guests that expressed the similar sentiments. A very special admiration to our High Commissioner for his superb leadership. And friends, a very special note of appreciation also goes to, behind every success of a man, there is always a woman. It goes to Ajay's life partner, Aarti Chaturvedi. A woman of substance and courage on a humanitarian mission herself to transform India's urban poor into urban middle class. So she could not join us today. While we'll miss both of them, we are also looking forward to working with the incoming representative of India to advance Canada-India engagement even further. Friends, for the last decade and a half, Canada-India Foundation has been working 360-degree in deepening the economic, socially, culturally, political engagement with India, and we have worked very closely with Ajay, his predecessors, and we are looking forward to working with his successor as well, and as also our very dear Consul General of India in Toronto, a great friend of Canada-India Foundation. We've been blessed to have an excellent team to work, guide us and work with us, and we're looking forward building up the momentum from there. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for joining, and please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish ji. So today we're going to have several eminent people come up on stage to celebrate the work of Basaria ji in Canada, and it gives me great pleasure now to invite our first guest of the evening, Mr. David Agnew, President, Seneca College. Mr. Agnew became the 5th President of Seneca in July 2009. Under his leadership, Seneca has experienced record growth in enrollment and expanded its offering in both undergrad and graduate programs, especially in India. Please join me in welcoming Mr. David Agnew.
Well, thank you very much. I normally don't speak from notes, but I've learned with diplomats it's a good idea. They have a memory. So it's a particular honor for me to say a few words on this auspicious occasion. It's it's really a bittersweet moment of saying goodbye to a gentleman who has become a great friend of Canada, His Excellency the High Commissioner. And I say bittersweet because Canada and all of us, and it's really everybody in this room who are keenly interested in a strong and a healthy Indo-Canadian relationship, have benefited so much from his presence. Yet it would be selfish for us not to allow him to retire after such a rich and distinguished career in the Indian Foreign Service. And of course, so he takes with him, as he leaves Canada, our very best wishes for a long and healthy post-diplomatic life. Now, my only regret after reading his biography, I have to say, is that we didn't have an opportunity to play golf.
Tomorrow morning.
Well, you know, he lists golf as one of his hobbies. In my book, it's one of my very self-inflicted wounds. But I'm sure we would have had a good time on the round. But I do remember reading the announcement of his appointment in 2020 and thinking, my goodness, Canada had landed a complete superstar of the Indian diplomatic corps.
Oh, my goodness.
For his very short time in office, we have not disappointed. And so on behalf of all of my colleagues in Canada's universities, polytechnics, colleges, I want to pay special tribute to the High Commissioner's particular interest and attention to the issues in higher education and to the tremendous service, I have to say the extraordinary service that the High Commission and all the consulates have given to our students. And as you know, when I talk of students, I'm talking a big number. I'm talking about the largest number of international students from any single country studying in Canada. Its latest figure we have officially is 230,000. I heard the High Commissioner himself predicted to go to 300,000. So it's in his tenure that number is not only growing exponentially year to year, but it's also not just recovered where it was post pre-pandemic, but in fact it's exceeded that number. And I'll tell you just one institution story, which is Seneca's. We were proud to say we have tripled our number of students from India in the last 2 years. In September, we were and in addition to that, we welcome literally hundreds of internationally trained students brought to us for a partnership with Install, which is based in Seneca. But I can also tell you that the High Commissioner's support comes in good times and in bad. And today I had the solemn duty of meeting the parents and brethren of our slain student, Basaria, and they spoke very highly of the support that they have received from the consulate and the entire diplomatic mission. Now, somehow, despite the pandemic hanging over the entire tenure of his time here in Canada, the High Commissioner found time to travel in this country, and I had the extreme privilege of being in person for the first time just about a year ago. It was in July 2021. We had a cup of tea together, and his concern for the well-being and the progress of our students from India was evident. His interest in their progress, in their postgraduate economic prospects, and their experience at Seneca. During his time of leadership in Canada, in addition to student numbers growing strong, we have seen a renewal of cooperation agreements in research, new India chairs announced at universities, and constant evidence of his personal commitment to the continuing progress of the Indo-Canadian relationship. We are grateful, High Commissioner, for all that you have done in your too brief time in Canada. And please, as you go, be enormously proud of your lasting contribution to strengthen the partnership between our two great countries. You are always welcome back.
I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Mr. Deepak Anand, newly elected MP. We came just in time because we do have significant presence from the Ontario government today. Let me invite Ms. Neena Tangri, Associate Minister for SME and Red Tape Reduction, along with MPP Laurie Scott, MPP Deepak Anand, and MPP Haldeep Rewal to the podium to share some greetings on behalf of the Government of Ontario.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Sunita ji. It really is great to be here to join each and every one of you. And David just spoke so eloquently. As politicians, we will give time limits of 1 minute each. So. But thank you again to all of you. Your Excellency, Indian High Commissioner of Canada, Ajay Basaria, CIF Chair, Deputy, Parvasi, Consul General, past chair, Anne Shawty, and of course, additionally the convener. And of course, my fellow members of Parliament here, Deepa Menon, the Honourable Laurie Scott, and our newly elected member, and to all the National Foundation. Good evening, Namaste, Sat Shri Akal, Varadar. I want to thank you all so much for inviting us to join you this evening to bid farewell to our respected High Commissioner. I recall the first time that we met. You had arrived months earlier, but due to COVID restrictions, was finally able to come to Toronto to visit and meet with all of us who were very, very anxious and excited to meet with you, get to know you. And I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation of your past experiences, and I really do hope that your time here in Canada is worthy of your future conversations wherever you are stationed. So on behalf of the Premier of Ontario and our entire caucus, we want to thank you for diligently working with us to bring investment to Ontario and increasing our trade with India. As the Minister of Small Business and Red Tape Reduction, we've had the ability to collaborate on many ideas and suggestions to find those best solutions in making life more affordable and easier for the people of Ontario. And under the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, we're advocating the federal government to bring in more entrepreneurs and skilled labourers and workers to help meet our need for our growing economy, many of whom will come from India. So as a very proud descendant of India and someone who continues to visit India 2 to 3 times a year, I look forward to doing even more in our collaboration and ensuring that Ontario and India become an example to the world on how we can learn from each other and increase our investment and trade. I do hope you enjoyed your stay with us here in Canada and that it was memorable. Again, on behalf of our Premier of Ontario and all Ontarians and my family, thank you for being part of our lives for the past 2 years. We'd like to wish you farewell, and I'd like to pass it on to the Honourable Laurie Scott to say a few words, and after that, my other colleagues. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to be here this evening, and Your Excellency, for your fine cooperation with our government and with our country, and especially the province of Ontario. You have been titled with great, incredible service that you've given, and now you're retiring. I didn't realize it was an actual retirement. So we send all the best wishes to you. As Mr. Tanger has said, we look forward to continued cooperation with India and the Foundation. Ratish, thank you for inviting me tonight, and you're always welcome at Halbert and Quaker Lakes Brock because we have the best ice cream. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you. Namaste, Sat Shri Akal, Adab. सबसे पहले तो आपका धन्यवाद for a clean victory, clean sweep in Ontario. Credit goes to each one of you. So thank you so much. Ajay ji, you will be dearly missed. आपकी पोजीशन या फिर पूर्वा जी की पोजीशन या कोई भी पोजीशन में इस परिवार में कोई आ जाता है और आप हमें उस परिवार में जब ले लेते हो तो dearly missed हो ही जाता है. आप किसी को भी देख लीजिए, each and everyone in this room believes that you're a family, and thank you for adopting us as a family as well. Anytime we needed you, you were always, and I mean it, always there. So thank you. और दूसरी बात मैं ये कहूँगा कि जो CAF एक छोटा सा पौधा है जो कई साल पहले लगा था, दिन ब दिन बढ़ता जा रहा है और इस समय हमें इसका फ्रूट का भी, फ्लावर्स भी और छाव भी मिल रही है. उसके लिए जितने भी अब तक मेंबर हैं CAF के, जिनकी वजह से हम सबको as a community benefit हो रहा है. So I just want to say thank you to each and every member of CAF. We really, really appreciate it. Finally, I have to talk about the league. Each one of us got one job done by becoming your MVP. Adeep has done 2. By making sure he won and he removed another one. So big round of applause. Finally, thank you to our media partners. When we have to reach out to the community, It takes an hour to 2 hours to reach out to 10 families. Through you, within minutes, we are able to reach out not even here, across the globe. So thank you, and let's continue working together, and let's make our community proud, and Dr. Dubey and Order of Canada. We need more of you too as well. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
Friends, respected dignitaries and guests, I just would like to say welcome and thank you. I'd also like to thank the CIF for always bridging the ties between Ontario and India and getting us all together and developing those relationships between the two countries and our province of Ontario and the government of India. And when it comes to our Honorable His Excellency, the High Commissioner, I'd like to thank you for your incredible service that you've provided. Although we personally never had the opportunity to meet and work together, but the things that I've heard about you are absolutely amazing, and what I've read about you is you're an absolutely astonishing person who's done a lot for the community, and I would just like to thank you for your service and dedication to the community and to the country as well. With that being said, just thank you everybody, thank you all respected dignitaries and guests today. And I look forward to working with everyone to further increase our relationship between Canada and India. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So, over the days that you've been attending a lot of farewell parties, I'm sure you've heard a lot of stories about your time here and the experiences of the people whose life you've touched. But when I bring it down and put it down to the crux of things, personally, I think the title that as a layman we would like to give, or rather I would like to give, is approachable. I mean, somebody in a position to be approachable to everybody. I think that's the biggest possibility that there could be here. So I think that really is an amazing, amazing trait, Mr. Basaria. And the same goes for our Council General. She's been amazing for all the time that she's been here, doing her work regularly. And I know as a CIF, she's a dear friend, and I've said that to her as well, that approachability is such a big deal where it might think it's not, but truly it is. If you have an issue and you feel you can pick up the phone and call somebody and get this resolved, I think that's an amazing thing. So without further ado, I would like to invite Parvasi to come in and say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Canada Day, for inviting me here. It always feels like family. Sir, we will really miss you. And I definitely know him more than anybody else here. We go a long way. So when I joined the Indian Foreign Service in 2001, he was PSU Prime Minister of India. So for us, he was like God. So, and from that time to 20 years later, when I'm working with you very closely, it's an honor and privilege to be working with you. So it has been really a great learning experience with your wisdom, your experience. Your career has been a dream career, sir. I mean, you have been PSU Prime Minister, you have been High Commissioner to Islamabad. What, mere mortals like us aspire for, these kind of the posts. And, like maybe barring Dr. Jay Shankar, his career is totally. Yeah, so we know that, sir. And here, really learned a lot from you, despite being in COVID situation. The way you gathered us together with, there was this coordination between the two consuls and High Commission. It has never been better, sir. So it's because of your initiative, you have brought us together. Now we think we speak in one voice, we coordinate everything, and that is your contribution, sir. Apart from that, the way you have aligned our thinking to how commerce will lead to the development of Canada-India relations. That has been a great learning experience, sir. So we're really going to miss you, and you have put, by going away, you are not only taking away one of the best bosses I've ever worked with, but also putting me in an awkward position of reporting to my husband. Not be very good at it. I can assure you not. It will not be good for his marital happiness. So thank you so for everything, and I hope we'll be in touch and keep on learning from you. Thank you so much.
Chair of the Canada India Foundation, Satish Chakrabarti, members, all your wonderful colleagues, all the friends of CIF who joined us today, honorable elected members, thank you for coming together in a huddle and saying all those wonderful words. Neena Tangriji, Deepak Anandji, Laurie Scott, Hardeep Reval, and of course I see my friend, former MP, Dr. Ruby Dalla here, I see Bob Saroya here, and so many friends across the room. So it's such a wonderful moment to be here. I will start by revealing a secret about why this event has been organized. We organized a golf tournament a week ago in Ottawa, and guess who got the first prize? The Canada India Foundation team. This is a payback moment, and we are paying back for the victory, because I don't know what magic Anil Shah did, but it was either with a club or with a pen. But he won. All right, and great to see Sir David Agnew, President of Seneca. Thank you for all your warm words, and thank you to my colleague Purva. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the wonderful things you've said. I'm looking at these photos. The last time I was in Toronto, I'd come for a wedding. So the only time you see so many photos of one person is when they're getting married. So I have this strange feeling of a wedding when I see these pictures. But what it just shows is that if we've achieved anything, it's because of an excellent team that we had with Apurva here, the star in Toronto, but also a worse half in Ottawa, which is Anshuman, the Deputy High Commissioner, and in Vancouver. We had a great team working very well, coordinating very well, and of course, all the other stakeholders like the Canada India Foundation, because really speaking, this business of diplomacy is not about the diplomats alone, but having all these wonderful allies in the larger ecosystem, working with them, that makes all the difference. I'm also especially happy by the send-off I'm getting, because I felt cheated with the last send-off I got. I was given 72 hours to leave Islamabad, and not a single farewell, not a single call, and a few ticker tapes saying, expelled High Commissioner about to leave Islamabad. So that was the extent of the farewell. So thank you Canada India Foundation for making up for that moment by giving me a doubly pleasant farewell. So it's been so wonderful. So what I thought I'd talk about, apart from my own journey, is at this point of time, to a group like this, when India is celebrating the 75th year of our independence, is to just reflect not in 75 minutes but in 75 seconds about India's journey. I said yesterday that 75 years of India, but 5,000 years of the Indian civilization. So when you celebrate these, you celebrate both. It's been an incredible journey, and for me, the highlight of this is our commitment to democracy and diversity, despite all the huge challenges of the wars, the pestilence, the poverty. Despite that, the commitment to democracy never wavered. Also, I think now the commitment of successive governments is to bring prosperity to 1.4 billion citizens while celebrating their diversity of thought and custom. So today's India, 75 years later, is the fastest growing large economy in the world, driven by the energy and innovation consolidation of its very youthful business sector. And India's growth now is powered by about 100 unicorns and 4 startups coming every day, 4 unicorns coming every month. We used to talk of 4 movies every day. We still make 4 movies, but we also make 4 unicorns. So I think this is an India which is certainly a new India, a different India, strongly committed to take a path of welfareism for the poor and those who've been left behind, but to power on for the next decade to a position of prosperity to all its people. Today, India is standing with Canada as a responsible global power. In December this year, we will take the chairmanship of the G20. So it will be a moment of global leadership. And from about 2000 and in the last couple of decades, India has been part of every global conversation, whether it's on trade, climate, terrorism, and it's proven to be a strong partner for all its friends. And that is why we feel especially happy celebrating India at 75 in Canada. We also celebrate the 75 years of the diplomatic partnership between India and Canada. And I thought what I should give you is a state of health report on where this partnership is, because you're such strong stakeholders in the India-Canada partnership. Our trade and economic exchange exceeds today $100 billion. If you put together the trade in goods, services, the investments, which are themselves more than $60 billion from Canada into India. So Canada, the investment today is certainly the headline of this partnership and has been for the last 2 years. So today the largest global investor in India, and I heard this from the Brookfield representative yesterday, is Brookfield of Canada with $23 billion US investment. From the US investors, it's more than BlackRock of the US, and this is our biggest investor. We, of course, have multiple unicorns which are financed and supported by Canadian companies, and this includes Flipkart and Byju's. The first unicorn to come out of India last year was Digit Insurance, which was a Fairfax company. And I had the pleasure of awarding the Padma Shri, or passing on the President's Award of the Padma Shri to Prem Vatsa, who is such a star, and from Toronto, both for India and for Canada, for the kind of contributions he's made. So, still, I think there is a huge potential for increasing this partnership between these two G20 economies as we go forward. And of course, I think the most important factor that turbocharges this partnership is the Indo-Canadian community represented here today. 1.7 million, the figures, the official numbers from the Canadian side tend to be 1.4 million. Our guesstimated is closer to 2 million. But whatever the number, this is a community now where we are leading in politics, 19 members of parliament, 3 cabinet ministers. We see it in the number of members of provincial parliaments, including here in Ontario. And we've seen this leadership expressed in almost every activity that we see, whether it's business or academia or literature or arts or culture. And I think you are the natural ambassadors of India's heritage. We will come and go. We spend 2 or 3 years, but this is the kind of partnerships we want to create to have the natural ambassadors working for us. So today, India and Canada are knowledge partners also, with a stronger collaboration in higher education, science and technology. As we heard, Indian students are the largest foreign body in Canadian institutions. Faculty is almost 20% of all leading Canadian universities. The faculties are of Indian heritage. The students are bringing $4 billion in tuition fees alone, and the knock-on benefits, if you count them, are $7 billion. So if you see Canada's industry, and I think this is an economy and industry of the foreign student industry. It has a revenue of $22 billion, and every third dollar is coming from India. So it's a $7 billion contribution to this service that Canada exports. And the numbers are huge. The guesstimate of the number is now already 280,000. So we left 230,000 behind. So of the million students we send overseas, every fourth student from India is coming to Canada. So you have overall a relationship where India is contributing high quality human capital, contributing IT skills to Canada, and increasingly looking at Canada not just as a source of investment in infrastructure, but also for food security, energy security, climate action, and in multiple other areas. But India is also partnering with Canada in a political alignment, a geopolitical alignment that is taking place, because we need Canada as a global partner in strengthening the voice of democracy, in combating global terrorism, in bringing stability and prosperity to the world. And there is a certain congruence now between our Indo-Pacific democracies and our G20 economies. You see a greater pivot, and we will see it in the next few months as we go to the end of the year, as Canada announces its Indo-Pacific strategy. I had the chance to meet Foreign Minister Melanie Joly yesterday and chat with her about this. She was the chief guest at an India 75 function that we had at the Shaw Center in Ottawa. I can tell you that we had a confirmed attendance by Prime Minister Trudeau. He was to be there, but he got COVID at the last moment and sent the minister. So I think the signs are positive. The ministers are also going to be meeting in Kigali next week at the Commonwealth Summit, and perhaps even the Prime Ministers and Prime Minister Trudeau travels. So there is a great deal of alignment taking place here. So I would say that if we look at the relationship today, it is being driven in many ways by the economic partnership, the business-to-business partnership. So G2G has been lagging behind B2B. But our attempt is to make sure that G2G does not interfere with B2B in any way and supports it in every possible way. So you asked me what my journey has been like, and this is a conversation we've had with Canada India Foundation. We set ourselves the objectives 2 years ago when we brainstormed about what we do, with three goals. One was to accelerate the economic partnership. The other was to stabilize and strengthen the political relationship. And the third was to leverage the Indo-Canadian community and its leadership, get that advice, get that support, get those doors opened by knocking at them, and be able to achieve the first two goals. So I think we have largely succeeded in aligning things, and yesterday we had a board meeting of the Canada-India Business Council, and we agreed that the India-Canada relationship is back on track. And I think that's saying a lot, because these last 3 years have been years of huge disruption for us personally and for the world. If you look at it, we had a triple whammy. In 2020, we got the virus. In 2021, the underlying economic crisis expressed itself. And in 2022, we have a war in Europe. All three are combining now to give us these downside risks of inflation and recession that we face. And in that environment, for the Indo-Canadian partnership to be in a stable position, in an optimistic position, in a position where we feel that the way is upwards is very positive. To just give you an example, we had a visit by Trade Minister Mary Ng. I know that Canada India Foundation had a debrief with her, and we agreed on signing what we're calling an early progress trade agreement. The context is important. This is an innovative thing to do. For 10 years we've been negotiating this agreement, and didn't make too much headway because we were making the perfect the enemy of the good. But now we've agreed on a win-win solution, a creative solution. India has done it with the UAE, India has done it with Australia, India will by Diwali have an agreement with UK. So I'm very optimistic that we will be able to achieve such an agreement before the end of this year. So this long-standing issue has been resolved. The other long-standing issue which we managed to resolve is a continuous problem that Canadian agricultural exporters had, which is pulses exports. We resolved that problem as well in March. Bob would know very well that this was an important and thick file, and they told me it can never be solved, but it was. So I think we were moving in very positive directions. So I think I wanted to put this out there because Canada India Foundation, I feel, is a stakeholder, is a body that which should be advising this relationship and taking it forward. And now that I am completing my journey in Canada and also in the government of India of 35 years, I am going to be free and speaking for myself. So I am entitled as a senior citizen to dispense some wisdom to Canada. Let me just share with you what I feel the Canadian India Foundation should be. We've had these dialogues with you, but let's put it out there. I would say that your foundation should be a premier organization promoting India-Canada relations. I'm not saying political relations, I'm saying India-Canada relations. And I think it's important to have a bipartisan kind of approach, regardless of the kind of government we have in place. And this has already been done when the economic partnership is so strong and leading the rest of the relationship. So, for instance, things that you could be doing is promoting the bilateral trade agreement with advocacy and policy advocacy, which we hope will come about at the end of the year. The other thing that we have proposed to Canada is a India-Canada green strategic partnership, a futuristic vision of the relationship where we look at renewable energy and green issues, and that will have a strong economic content. And the third, I would say, is to keep advocating for the Indo-Pacific strategy, which will have India at its core, at its center, and which is perhaps going to be announced in the next few months. One of the other conversations we had is to how to professionalize this whole advocacy, and we are trying to put in place a professional group or a group called the Canada-India Public Affairs Committee, which will have professionals working on it, and I would invite the Canada-India Foundation to partner with them in specific projects and look for lasting benefits, that things that will deliver and institutions that will stay for a decade rather than for a month or 2 months. And I think that would be our contribution. One of the ideas we discussed is grooming leaders from the Indo-Canadian community to be part of Canada's politics, for instance. So I think these are exciting times. I feel that the relationship is in much better health than it was a couple of years ago. And times are good, the political alignment is right, the economic partnership is getting stronger, and I think this is a relationship which will get stronger and stronger, particularly given that India will continue to be a huge supplier of human resources to Canada. And I think if we start talking of the challenges, there are two which we've been discussing very, very frequently. Two boxes I would put them in. One is mobility and the other is security. Mobility is everything related to visas, flights, which cause a great deal of heartburn in communities in both countries. And the other is of security. We know the security issues. I'm happy to say that there's been a great deal more collaboration on these and open dialogue between the security agencies and an ability to face these issues head on and solve them. And we've seen that these two issues, can cast a cloud over a relationship which is now on a strong upward trajectory. So we need to be pushing the relationship on an upward trajectory, on countering these and dealing with these challenges. And I think this relationship has the maturity to do that. And with the support of this wonderful group here. So let me thank you once again, and I apologize for inflicting a vision of what I think the relationship should be, even after when I'm not there, when Apurva is not there. But this is something that is the responsibility of our permanent natural ambassadors to Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency. You have truly charged the atmosphere in the room today. And if this charge can be taken forward, the only unstoppable person here in the room, other than yourself, Mr. Ritesh Malik, the convener for the national convener for CIF, I'm going to invite him for concluding remarks.
Good evening, everyone. I think there are two problems when you get a chance to speak in the end. Number one, whatever you want to speak, 10 things you have in mind, every speaker strikes off 2 things. So by the time your chance comes, everything has been spoken. Secondly, you're standing in between good food and hungry people in the room. So I won't take too long. On behalf of everyone at Canada India Foundation and everyone present here this evening, it is my great pleasure to deliver this word of thanks on this occasion where we all have joined together to celebrate the exceptional term of His Excellency Ajay Basaria ji. I'm very calling this as a farewell because there are certain people you really don't want to say goodbyes to them, and sir, you're one of those people. So take this as our way to appreciate and a lot of gratitude for whatever you've done in this term for all of us here and Canada and India. But still, in spite of everything being said, I would still want to share one thing. You always, sir, whenever we met you, you always used to joke around and say that I'm a virtual High Commissioner because you landed and COVID happened. But I think we were living in a different kind of pandemic even before you came in, long pandemic, and we call it bilateral relationship pandemic. And in your term, you ensured and assured that we got booster shot for both. And that is why, because of you, we can safely call it endemic now. We are doing great on both those fronts. That iconic picture of yours, where Minister Meeta Anand and you were receiving those vaccines sent by Prime Minister Modi from India, that says a lot about how India and you saw this relationship with Canada. I mean, at that time when everybody in the world, including Canada, we were grappling for vaccines and we were so unsure and uncertain about the future, and that gave us a lot of assurance. And on behalf of everybody in Canada and Indo-Canadian community, I would like to say thanks for for India doing what they did at that point of time for all of us. You both have actually reset the whole relationship of India and Canada, and you got us to a point where we can safely say that there is no looking back now. We can only go north from here. Also, I would like to say thanks to all elected representatives today, Hardeep Grewal, Laurie Scott, Neena Tandrinji, and Deepak Anandji. Also, a lot of friends from India, Bob Saroya-ji, Dr. Ruby Dalla, and David Agnew. I see a lot of friends of India in this room. Special thanks to even our media partner, Parvasi TV, Ravinder Saini is here, Y Media, you just saw, and everyone. You guys have helped us a lot to deliver what we want to deliver in terms of our message. And this vote of thanks cannot be complete without giving mic to Mr. Anil Shah. With only one condition, no singing.
Please.
High Commissioner sir, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. He has asked me and made me a promise that I should not be singing. And I also made a promise to the Consul General, I will not sing. The last High Commissioner who left my home with a farewell adieu, I had a singing party for him. And I ended up singing a lot more than the singer. So the Consul General has made me a promise, no more singing. आज गाने की जरूरत। Last golf tournament में हमने छोटे से 2 लफ्ज़ बोले थे, लेकिन I'm not. So now she is trying to remind me of that. That's okay. But yesterday night I had a dream, and I want to talk about it. I had a dream, and I was walking on the streets of Oakville, my city, in the downtown of Oakville, and I got a bottle of. I rubbed it, and out comes, instead of the genie, Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister. He says, "Ask me, beta, what you want."
Automatically he's 50 now.
Ask me, beta, what you want. I said, Modi sahab, हमारे हाई कमिश्नर को 10 साल काम करवा दो, let him be in front. प्रकाश को नहीं बोला, मोदी साहब ने बोला ना, ऐसी गलती मैं दोबारा नहीं करूँगा. इनको मैं 10 नहीं 20 साल. So sir, we are going to say alvida to you, but to see you again. We want you back in Toronto in a different capacity. Maybe as an advisor to Canada India Foundation. The advisors that you gave us. Maybe, if all the CR members agree, and which I would love to promote, is maybe you can be the lead for us for the CIF team in India. Am I right? Always. I want to thank every member, MPPs, MPs, and my dear old friend Ruby here. Oh boy, long time no see, eh? And my hero here. भाई साहब, कमाल कर दिया. दीपक साहब ने जो बोला ना 2 नंबर वाली बात, you are the best. हराने की जो मजा आ गया. Don't you think we ought to give him a big hand? So, I will just take a half a second on that. But I was driving here, and I get a call. Limo driver Sidhu. He calls me. I honestly don't remember him, but I had used his services once upon a time. And he says, "Boss, मेरा भाई आ रहा है. उसने ऐसी जीत की है. You must never forget it." And I said, "I will never forget this young man." Great achievement, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for doing whatever you did, and I hope you're a great friend of Canada and great friend of India. Because here, we at Canada India Foundation.
तो जैसे आप देख रहे हैं आज हमारे हिज एक्सेलेंसी अजय बसारिया जी को एक फेयरवेल दी गई है कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन की तरफ से. बहुत ही प्रभावशाली ये सारा इवेंट रहा आज का. तो बड़ा शॉर्ट स्पैन था सर, लेकिन इतनी मेमोरीज लेके जा रहे हैं. क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
भाई अब अलविदा कहने का समय आ गया है, मगर 2 साल में बहुत काम हुआ और कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन के साथ भी काम हुआ. ये हालांकि पैंडेमिक था, फिर भी हम वर्चुअली बहुत कुछ कर पाए.
और वर्चुअली में एक एडवांटेज रहती है कि हम और ज़्यादा लोगों को एक्सेस कर पाए और ज़्यादा कॉन्वर्सेशंस कर पाए। तो कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन के साथ मिल के हाई कमीशन ने और टोरंटो में कॉन्सुलेट ने बहुत काम किया है और उसका फल हम अब देख रहे हैं काफ़ी सेक्टर्स में, इकोनॉमिक सेक्टर में, पॉलिटिकल सेक्टर में और स्टूडेंट्स के चलते काफ़ी फ़ायदा हुआ।
आपने अपनी स्पीच में स्टूडेंट्स के ऊपर काफ़ी एम्फेसाइज किया है, तो हमने देखा है पिछले 4-5 साल से ख़ास तौर के ऊपर लाखों स्टूडेंट यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं और ये फ्यूचर है हमारा आगे की आने वाली जनरेशन में। दे आर गोइंग टू प्ले वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल। तो इसको आप कैसे देख रहे हैं फ्यूचर को, इन स्टूडेंट्स को लेके पर्टिकुलरली जो इंडिया कनाडा में आ रहे हैं?
ये एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट तबका है, ये इंडियन सिटीजन्स हैं जब ये आ रहे हैं। लगभग 3 लाख के करीब स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं और हमारा फ़र्ज़ बनता है और हमारी पूरी कोशिश रहती है कि इनकी मदद करें so that they become responsible Canadian citizens and they go back to India in some cases with an education. तो दोनों चीज़ें रहती हैं। वो कनाडा के लिए भी एक यंग ह्यूमन रिसोर्स हैं और इंडिया जो वापस जाते हैं वो इंडिया के लिए भी काम करेंगे। और आजकल सब स्टूडेंट्स ग्लोबल हैं, तो कुछ जाएंगे, कुछ आएंगे, कुछ यहाँ काम करेंगे।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन, कनाडा और इंडिया का जो रिलेशनशिप है इसमें बहुत और पोटेंशियल है। पर्सन टू पर्सन जो हमारा रिलेशनशिप है वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन ट्रेड में अभी भी हम लैग कर रहे हैं। काफ़ी सारे फ्री ट्रेड की भी बात हुई, काफ़ी सारी संभावनाएं, आपने भी उसमें शॉर्ट लिस्ट किया कि कौन कौन से वो सेक्टर्स हैं यहाँ पे काफ़ी ग्रोथ की संभावना है। तो अब आप जा रहे हैं डेफिनेटली, तो कुछ ना कुछ फीडबैक बैक होम जाके इंडिया गवर्नमेंट को भी देंगे। क्या आपको लगता है आने वाले टाइम में किन वो सेक्टर्स हैं यहाँ पे काफ़ी संभावना है जिसमें कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले कर सकती है?
देखिए, ट्रेड में तो है बहुत संभावना और इसमें हम ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट की बातचीत चल रही है, नेगोशिएशन चल रहे हैं और आशा है कि इस साल के अंत तक एक इंटरिम ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट तैयार हो जाएगा। उससे ट्रेड पे मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट्स रहेंगे, एग्रीकल्चरल गुड्स, टेक्सटाइल्स, हर तरह के गुड्स। मगर उसके अलावा टेक्नोलॉजी में भी बहुत स्कोप है। CIF ने बहुत काम किया है हेल्थ टेक्नोलॉजी में और हेल्थ इश्यूज़ में। अभी हमारी बात हो रही थी वर्चुअल हेल्थ डिलीवरी, टेली हेल्थ, डिजिटल हेल्थ, इसमें बहुत काम हो सकता है। और एग्री टेक, मेडिकल टेक, इन सब एरियाज़ में बहुत काम हो सकता है और स्टार्टअप कॉरिडोर्स बनाने से दोनों देशों का बहुत फ़ायदा होगा।
एक बड़े अच्छे फ्रेंड को मिस करेंगे?
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। अजय जी के साथ चाहे हमारा एक रिश्ता 28 महीने मोर लेस बोलेंगे कि बड़ी
पैंडेमिक में,
वो भी पैंडेमिक में, बट ऐसे लगता है कि ये जन्म का रिश्ता है। एंड अजय जी की गाइडेंस, इनकी मेंटरशिप, इनके साथ काम करने का बहुत ही CIF को बहुत ही मज़ा आया, क्योंकि ये ही इज़ ए मैन ऑफ एक्शन। एंड कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन जैसे हम लोग ऑलमोस्ट 15 साल से इस डायरेक्शन में काम कर रहे हैं कि कैसे हम कनाडा इंडिया को मोर उनकी एंगेजमेंट जो है मोर डीपन कर सकें। एंड पिछले 15 सालों से ऑलवेज हमने सक्सेसिव लीडरशिप के साथ काम किया है, बट अजय जी का टेन्योर जो है इट्स वन ऑफ द मोस्ट मेमोरेबल वन।
आपने बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस लिए हैं, जो योगा को जो आपने प्रमोट किया कनाडा इंडिया फाउंडेशन में, वो भी रिमार्केबल रहा है। तो बड़ी जल्दी योगा डे आ रहा है और एक और इवेंट करने जा रहे हैं, एक मौका है, आप उसके बारे में भी मैसेज दे दें।
जी बिल्कुल, देखें योगा जो है वो यूनाइट करता है, सबको यूनाइट करता है। ऑफ कोर्स ये एक साइंस है माइंड बॉडी सोल की, बट इसके साथ साथ ये कल्चर्स को यूनाइट करता है, ये कम्युनिटीज़ को यूनाइट करता है, ये कंट्रीज़ को यूनाइट करता है। तो सिंस 2015 जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी जी की रिक्वेस्ट पे यूनाइटेड नेशन में ये रेजोल्यूशन पास हुआ था, विच वाज सपोर्टेड बाय द आई थिंक द मोस्ट कंट्री ओवर 177, एंड आई थिंक दिस इज़ द ओनली रेजोल्यूशन विच गॉट द हाईएस्ट सपोर्ट। एंड तब से हम लोग हर साल इंटरनेशनल योगा डे मनाते आ रहे हैं। वी आर योगा एंथुजियास्ट, सो इस साल भी हम लोग ये योगा डे सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं ऑन June 21 एट ओंटारियो प्लेस, सुबह 10 से लेकर 12 बजे तक। हमने इंडिजिनस कम्युनिटी को साथ में एंगेज किया है, क्योंकि 21 जून जो है इंडिजिनस डे भी है। उनका कल्चर और उनका ट्रेडिशन, उनकी भी जो हीलिंग प्रैक्टिसेस हैं वही सेम जो हमारी एंशिएंट विजडम है,
काफ़ी सिनर्जी है। तो यहाँ कनाडा में रहते हुए कि जो हमारी एंशियंट विजडम है उसको हम अपनी गुड हेल्थ वेल बीइंग के लिए थ्रू आउट कनाडा उसको प्रमोट कर सकें। आपको पता है हमने आयुर्वेदिक स्पीकर सीरीज़ भी रन की, तो इसका एक ही पर्पज़ है, सोल मोटिव है कि हम लोग एक खुशहाल कनाडा बना सकें।
आपने उनको वर्चुअल हाई कमिश्नर का आज नाम दे दिया।
नहीं, इन्होंने ये खुद ही टाइटल अपने आप को दिया था वर्चुअल हाई कमिश्नर का, बट वर्चुअली अगर इन्होंने इतना काम किया है, आई एम श्योर रिलेशनशिप इज एवरीथिंग, मीटिंग पर्सन टू पर्सन इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. Like imagine like if it was not pandemic, like what Ajay ji could have achieved in his tenure. But जैसा सतीश जी ने भी बोला, आई थिंक सबसे डिफरेंट अजय जी के टेन्योर में ये था. नॉर्मली क्या होता है, डिप्लोमैट्स जब आते हैं उनके मन में जहन में अपनी कंट्री का इंटरेस्ट जो होता है वो प्राइमरी होता है. बट अजय जी के साथ, अपूर्वा जी के साथ जो हमने पिछले 2-2.5 साल में एक्सपीरियंस किया, वेन एवर वी हैड एनी काइंड ऑफ डिस्कशंस, हमेशा ये होता है कि हम इंडिया से कनाडा को क्या दे सकते हैं, कनाडा को कैसे और जैसे सतीश जी ने खुशहाल बना सकते हैं.
आपने मेंशन भी किया वो वैक्सीन वाला सारा
1.9 मिलियन डायस्पोरा है, वो कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है ओवरऑल कैनेडियंस की लाइफ पे, क्या इंडिया कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकता है. जैसे आयुर्वेदा, योगा, तो आयुर्वेदा योगा को यहाँ लाने का और कंट्रीज़ में लाने का मोटिव सिर्फ ये है कि वहाँ लोकल जो पॉपुलेशन है या लोकल जो लोग रहते हैं उनको कैसे मदद पहुँच सकती है. आई मीन इट्स नॉट अ सोल्यूशन टू कीप स्पेंडिंग मनी ऑन हेल्थ केयर. I mean, yoga and Ayurveda are great tools whereby we can keep people healthy without worrying about increasing our health budgets.
इंडिया इज वर्ल्ड लीडर.
जी, तो इनके साथ काम करके इसलिए ज़्यादा हमें मज़ा आया क्योंकि हम इंडिया से ज़्यादा कनाडा की बात कर रहे होते थे, कनाडा की चिंता कर रहे होते हैं कि कनाडा में चीज़ें और कैसे बेहतर हो सकती हैं. जैसा कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी का भी विजन है, उन्हें हमेशा ये होता है, वो वासुदेव कुटुंबकम की बात करते हैं कि वर्ल्ड इज़ वन फैमिली. सो इनके साथ हमने वो एक्सपीरियंस किया पिछले 2.5 साल में कि हम जब बात करते थे हम पूरी दुनिया की बात करते थे, हम इंडिया या कनाडा की बात नहीं करते थे. तो वो एक बहुत ही, जैसे सतीश ने कहा, एक बहुत स्पेशल एक रिलेशनशिप भी था, बॉन्ड भी था और बहुत मेमोरीज बहुत अच्छी क्रिएट हुई हैं. एंड आई एम श्योर वी कैन जस्ट टेक इट फॉरवर्ड फ्रॉम हियर फ्रॉम सक्सेसर्स.
लास्ट क्वेश्चन, इस फ्रेंडशिप को कैसे कंटिन्यू रखना चाहेंगे?
फ्रेंडशिप देखो, कहते हैं कि गोल्फ कोर्स पे कंटिन्यू रहती है, तो वो हमने स्टार्ट किया है, हम कंटिन्यू रखेंगे.
आपकी हेल्थ का राज क्या है?
योगा.
वंडरफुल. वी आर ऑल योगा प्रैक्टिशनर्स.
बिल्कुल, आई एम अ योगा प्रैक्टिशनर.
योगा एंथुसियास्ट हैं राजेंद्र जी.
रामदेव जी
जब से हम लोग योगा कर रहे हैं तो ये राजेंद्र जी हमेशा पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं.
बहुत अच्छा.
एंड ही इज वन ऑफ द
एंड एनी मैसेज ऑन योगा जाते जाते?
योगा करते रहें. योगा इज इंडियाज गिफ्ट टू द वर्ल्ड. योगा इज समथिंग फॉर नॉट जस्ट फॉर गुड हेल्थ बट ऑल्सो फॉर ब्रिंगिंग पीपल टुगेदर. तो योगा इज इम्पोर्टेंट एंड योग है. और 1 in every 5 Canadians has done yoga. So I think we should propagate it even more because yoga is finally for health and for friendship and for well-being.
गुड लक सर फॉर योर फ्यूचर कैरियर एंड लाइफ. और बहुत अच्छा आपका सफर है.
Thank you very much. बहुत नमस्कार.
Hello, I'd like to thank all the viewers of Parvasi TV for joining us this evening with the Canada-India Foundation. We're here to bid farewell to His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India to Canada, Mr. Ajay Basaria. He's going to be leaving us after 2.5 years, and it's going to be very sad to see him leave. He's done great work in making sure that here in Ontario especially, that our collaboration together, especially with international trade and cooperation, and making sure that we can do so much work together. Ontario's economy is growing significantly, and as the Minister of Small Business and Red Tape Reduction, we're making it easier for entrepreneurs to come here and many other ideas, and we've been collaborating with His Excellency on many of these issues to make sure that we can do that much better. So I do want to thank all the viewers of Parvasi TV for coming out and supporting us in the election, and our office is open to you, so please reach out if we can be of any assistance, and we look forward to meeting everyone again in person very, very soon.
Hi, my name is Hardeep Grewal, your Ontario PC MPP from the great riding of Brampton East. We're here today just celebrating the work of the High Commissioner, His Excellency, High Commissioner of India to Canada. We're celebrating his work and wishing farewell. And I would just like to also mention a quick thank you to all the constituents and everybody who has supported me in this election as your newly elected MPP. I just want to say thank you to everybody and farewell to our High Commissioner of India to Canada. Thank you.
Well, this is a time of both sadness and happiness. Sadness because the High Commissioner brought such a great sensitivity and understanding of the need to improve the Indo-Canadian relationship, and he did an amazing job in a short 2 years. I think he's really taken us to the next level. And I can say as an educator, as the president of Seneca College, we welcomed him as a voice for Indian students and really someone who understood both the challenges and the opportunities that we're facing the now nearly 300,000 students coming from India to study in Canada. We're very grateful for his service. We're really grateful for how he took the challenges of our relationship and really brought us to a different place. And we'll miss him, but we wish him well, and we welcome him back anytime.
मैं प्रवासी टीवी सुनने वाले देखने वाले बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाਹੁੰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਫੰਕਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਜੇ ਬਿਸਾਰੀਆ ਜੋ ਹਿਸ ਐਕਸਲੈਂਸੀ ਹਾਈ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨਰ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਟੂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਉਹ ਥੋੜੇ ਦਿਨ में जा रही है वापस इंडिया में so we want to bid him farewell and Canada India Foundation ਅੱਜ dinner ਰੱਖੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ to make sure that we continue जो collaboration India, Ontario the ਨਾਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਅਸੀਂ continuous ਰੱਖੋ and we want to just make sure that everybody participates and make sure we can have that great collaboration with India. So thank you to all the viewers again at Parvasi TV for watching today and my office is open to serve you. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਕਰ ਲਿਓ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਦਫ਼ਤਰ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹੇ ਹੈ so please reach out. Thank you so much.